Hello, everyone. Welcome to this month's Astrological Association's Astro Duet. I'm Chang. Today I'm hosting this event because dear Alejo has some work to do, and then big part of our team has, I think Chris is in holiday, but they trust me. I think I can host all these kinds of things. That's the okay. But first, I want to say thanks to everyone to join us today, and there's so many familiar faces. Also, I want to give a special thanks to Kenan because in Turkey now it's 10 o'clock, 10 p.m. So, oh my God, he has to hold on there with us all night long. So I was thinking today's event, I will kind of have 1 hour's discussion around that 1 hours and maybe a little bit longer. I don't think I will go to, after something like 8:30 because that will be too late for Kenan. All right. So today, I think when we are planning this event, we just say, okay, should we do some event around the February? And then suddenly, I think with dear Lian suggest, how about talk about the Uranus because Uranus will station direct on the 4th of February. I say, oh, that sounds cool event. We should do that. So we can talk about the Uranus and station on the day of a station direct. That is kind of quite cool to share that kind of Uranus. Maybe you say energy or quality, and I think we can notice that. We can notice from the global event, financial situation, or the international news that kind of shaking up quality is appear in front of our eyes. So today I would like to welcome Kenan to join me. And between me and Kenan, we're talking about okay. I want to do a review. I want to do a review about the what I noticed. There's not many chart I'm going to use, but I want to say what I noticed around the last 7 years around the Taurus themes when during the Uranus moving to Taurus and those things related to finance, financial money, or on the medicine things, and then Kenan will lead us to the Uranus in Gemini, a next generation. But for you who don't know Kenan, I want to give read a very quick introduction. All right. So Kenan is our new superstar. Kenan is from Turkey and Istanbul, and he is the Isaac Cup Certificate Astrologer author and the founder of Experimental Astrology Academy in Turkey. Well, Kenan specializes in the medical, locational, and the mundane astrology. Also, as the European representative of the CIA Agent 104, and also council member of APAI. You're pretty busy, isn't it? Because Kenan is also teaching in Kepler College. Last month, I think, teaching the astro map. Okay, so today in here we have so many dear colleagues to join us. So that's just like just chatting through our experience with the Uranus in Taurus, and you feel welcome to join the conversation. But please, if you can, just raise your hand, and then I can invite you to share your idea. Okay, so let me. I think I prepared some slides, but this definitely not necessary because it just help you through the visualizing thing, but definitely not a slide that I say, something important or important chart. Okay. So let me prepare it. So if you can, let me know if you can see it. Can we see it?
Yes.
Oh, thank you, Kenan. All right then. Cool. So this is what I went through for last 7 years, and I try to pick up those themes related to Taurus. And first, I think you don't need to be a financial astrologer expert. You were immediately thinking Taurus are related to finance, money, and assets. So have anything changed for last 7 years from 2018, around 2018? I still remember around the 2018 a lot of astrologer, we are kind of trying to forecast or predict what's coming up. And the first things we are thinking about could be the financial system and with body, with the food, and also maybe some astrology talking about the antibiotic. And yet it all happened. It all happened, but it's just not the way we expect, especially the big one, COVID-19. I think play a super important role during the last 7 years because for many people that we are not expecting I mean for many people are not experienced never experienced like a lockdown or we call food shortage. You couldn't find egg on the supermarket shelf. You couldn't find milk on the supermarket shelf. You couldn't even find yeast if you want to make your own bread. And then the transport lockdown. We are not going to move anywhere, and that was a kind of a very, very particular experience we had. And also the war between the Ukraine and Russia, and also the US-China trade war are kind of really cause not only food, a lot of goods are kind of we are aware about these kind of things, and I think the COVID play a super important role to begin with. For example, during the COVID, many countries are looking for what? Mask, facial mask. And there was shortage of facial mask, and we try to very improvise, creative, find this find the plastic cover on your head, or get a duvet sheet or something cover your face. And people are just kind of very interesting image during that time. But that was just beginning. Because after that, we have in the European and the United States start to have like a problem with what the car manufacturing has problem to continue their production line because short of chips. Not because the chip couldn't shipping from Taiwan, and there was interesting mask, chips, fruit. Okay, so all these kind of things, and while we thinking, okay, we are fine now finish the COVID, we should be back to normal. And then Trump start the tariff war with so many countries. And we are getting ourselves, oh, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? And there's words I find quite interesting, so-called globalization 2.0. I think we have to look at this word because to be honest, the globalization, I don't want to say started from that draw our attention from beginning from 1980s. Like everything we are enjoying today, has the image of globalization. I still remember when I just came to UK. I still remember this. When I just come to UK, I want to drink cappuccino, but the most coffee shop I went to was a filter coffee. And I was like, why you don't sell cappuccino? But nowadays, every place and every people working in the coffee shop is flat white. Flat white. And I thought, what is flat white? It's an Australian style short coffee with milk. So this is globalization. Our banana maybe come from Africa, come from Latin America. Avocado, if you want avocado smash for your branch, that from Mexico and Peru. So all these kind of trading all around the world, the globalization, have built up our society and our food in supermarket. I still think it's not enough because I'm from Asia. When I walk into my supermarket, I was expecting to find more noodle, tofu, and whatever soy sauce or something. But local supermarket don't really have that. But that is quite interesting because during the COVID and also the tariff, whole kind of the old style, the old system of the globalization is facing the challenge. And we are calling it globalization 2.0 because it's not for example, the big big company like Heinz, they have their whole production line. Now they have to break down. Now they have break down, and from country to country, like UK and Turkey have make agreement, and maybe UK and Ecuador they have make agreement, specializing to avoid the tariff and all sort of inconvenience things. So when this happens, we ask ourselves, like, how many of our everyday food or item was imported, and are they going to facing this challenge of, we tax you, you tax us, okay? And how many food? I think for people who enjoy the ecology, I usually ask, shop local, shop local. That is not a new idea. I think that wasn't a new idea, but in the beginning was more likely for the ecological reason. We don't want the footprint of the food. We want to support the local business. But however, since last year, this idea about shop local become a kind of a not only from ecological reason, but also economical reason. Because all the tariff and the tax become like a build up, and the most easy thing you can do is shop local. And that's why and also the country to country dealing with each other's, tax and thingy, and that call it globalization 2.0. So that's how I noticed the first on the, trading and the tax, and how we change our view of the food. How we going to, that's a hint. There's a hint there. We are going to change our consumes modes. Okay. The next one, I want to share about the financial market, because the for the last 7 years, beginning from the 2018, we already know there's something. We know the cryptocurrency already there, but it's just not draw our attention. And there was the digital currency, and the whole financial market are very, very different during the last 7 years. Okay, especially the maniac of the cryptocurrency. In the beginning of 2018, probably none of us will really say, you know what, the US dollar will decline and we will try to find something to replace it. But what we heard during last 7 years, for example, like BRICS, those countries from Brazil, Russia, China, trying to get out of influence of US dollars. And that is very interesting. The global economic is reshaping, and it's a very different view. And then like we used to have in the early 2000, we have dot-com bubble, and now we are waiting for the AI bubble. So this is very interesting, and I have to say the stories. The story of a Taurus, one of the story of a Taurus are really related to those illusion, those fanatic, those illusion of abundance of money. The one part of the Minotaur story, the king from the Crete, has been given a white ox to sacrifice to Poseidon in exchange of the good fortune. But however, he loved this beautiful white ox, so he exchanged it. He find the normal Taurus, the normal ox to sacrifice to Poseidon. Poseidon wasn't happy, so he make some trick. Poseidon make King Crete's wife went mad and fall in love with this ox, and then create the monster Minotaur. So this kind of illusion, this kind of a fanatic illusion, you want to something and you trying to cheat and you trying to hold the things not belong to you, become part of the Taurus story here. And when when last 7 years we are looking at the fast changing environment of our financial industrial with digital currency, with cryptocurrency. One thing happened, not happened to us yet, but one thing happened in China. Because if you ask me what country, other country work on the so-called digital finance in the best way, I will tell you China, definitely China. Because I haven't been to China for how many years? Well, maybe 7, 8 years. Okay, that's the reason I didn't go. But even 8 years ago, if you go to China and you go to supermarket or any kind of shop, and you want to buy something, you take out your wallet and you get your paper note out. They will look at you like you are crazy. Because for them, it's all about the digital payment that time. Only tourists use paper money or coins. So now they are really totally adopt to those kind of digital currency, and everything is any transaction is by mobile phone or by bank card. Nobody using the paper note or coins. And for them, it's like only tourists doing that, and everyone will be like looking. But however, during an incident couple years ago, the whole town was blacked out. There was no electricity, and there's no mobile phone signal. That was so funny. Suddenly, for 3 days, they cannot carry out any transaction. There was emergency, so people want to call taxi to get home. Taxi say, "How are you going to pay me?" I say, "Well, I can, pay with my mobile phone." Say, "No, there's no mobile phone signal. We are unable to, have this transaction." So they have to find a way. What I heard about most ridiculous is someone say, "Okay, I have 3 packs of cigarette. I have 3 packs of cigarette. I give you this 3 pack of cigarette, you take me home." We backed to the most original way of trading. I have 3 packs of cigarette, you take me home, you have this 3 pack of cigarette. And during that 3 days, you can see the people feel so inconvenienced that they couldn't use the digital payment on their mobile phone. So that was the kind of things that was us to pay attention. But the commercial mode also changed. Maybe big part of here you did not notice, but ask people, especially young people. We have some young people here, include Kenan. So what they are doing is online shopping, and it's not just online shopping. Each company not only have their own app, okay. For example, maybe a close brand called Shein. Maybe some of you heard about that. Shein is a very famous brand, and they're trying to enter the European market, but they're being blocked by France and Italy. Their commercial mode is terrible. It's not just come to buy. It's also they are using that trick to like social media, make you stick with their app 24 hours 7 days. So on the app, it's not just buy. It's also there's a tiny game. You spin a wheel, then you can win a prize. You can come to spin every hour. You may win a coupon, a voucher, a discount voucher. That's how they develop it. Make you want to buy your new clothes, but you are addicted to their app. That is kind of something that we should pay attention. So, and also, people sell things on social media. There's a big part of advertising on Facebook, on Instagram. is sponsored by certain commercial brand, and then like you probably don't know, and then they will just tell you to how good this kind of thing is, and that is a very very different way of a commercial mode, and that was totally rising up during the Uranus in Taurus, and that was so fast, and we don't even understand. We don't even understand. That is kind of things that we should pay attention, because it really, when Uranus move into Gemini, I think we'll see a lot of different things. Now, we're always afraid about the robot going to taking over our job, and now it appear. I think last year, around the summer last year, and they getting started building this type of human shaped robot. Temu is like exactly Temu and Shein. They are using the app to make you addict to their app. You go to spin the wheel every hours, and then you can get a free voucher or something. That was so crazy. Now, the household robot or the AI, we are worried about the AI taking over our job. Even astrologers are scared. Last year during the conference, we were talking about how astrologer dealing with AI. How astrologer dealing with AI did exactly. You can go to the Chat GPT and asking, could you write me a transit about what? About the Uranus direct. They know that. They really know it, and they will really give you some paragraph. It looks like it makes sense, but indeed, you really get, you just say, what does that mean? They are quite good, to be honest. They are quite good. So what we are going to face is all these robots or the AI going to take the job away from us. Now we have to think about what are we going to do if we don't need to work anymore. What do you want to do? That's the best way to think about it. What do you want to do if you don't need to go to work anymore? Or is there anything I can do but AI couldn't do? All right. That is the things. That they are the things, because somehow what I see is that everything you do, you have to do it in a kind of an expert, the best way, because AI can really generate, like Caroline say, AI crap. But darling, most people buy it because they couldn't make differences if they don't know about astrology. They just read whatever appear in front of their eye. Okay, especially if you are good looking and cute or beautiful, they will even swallow everything you offer them. But if you want to survive through this wave of AI, you have to be an expert. For example, how many IT engineer or how many programmer lost their job this time? A lot, whole lot of IT programmer lose their job because AI can really write program faster than they can think. But the problem is they need someone come to debug, to fix the bug in the program. And so you have to be an expert to keep your job during this AI thing, okay? Now, the final things is more interesting. The things may be more related to you and I. The medical technology, for example, we come back to COVID, even I don't really want to spend a lot of time in COVID, but we know how fast we or they develop a vaccine. Usually a vaccine, the whole process of approval of vaccine takes more than 10 years. But during the COVID, we need it because it will save lives. So even after 1 year, we have a COVID vaccine. And everyone just fight for it. I'm one of them. I won't be the first one who get vaccine. Okay, so that is one thing about the medical medical industrial, pharmaceutical industry, how they change and how they change our body view. And also artificial organ is not the fantasy or sci-fi story anymore. Because in 2022, the first 3D print ear was transplant, was used in operation. This is just an ear, just an ear. I was wondering how soon our kidney will worth nothing if they can start to print 3D print a kidney anymore. Because we used to joking about, if I don't have money, I want to do something, I'm going to sell my kidney. I think soon the kidney will worth nothing because they will find a better, clean, and more healthy 3D print kidney. However, the more things I'm very woke. I'm kind of a little bit woke, so I want to raise this is about the body and the gender. Today, I'm not going to say what is right, what is wrong, but during the last 7 years, we have a lot of debate. Let me start with the one everyone maybe more or less agree that the Ozempic, the weight loss injection, the weekly one. So how they change our view. Let me give you example. For a long time, left wing or people who call woke are fighting so hard to have the different size model, like a large size model, appear on the fashion show, on the fashion weekend. But the demand of a large size model would decline from early 2024. No one wants to see large size model. Why? We don't need it. Everyone started using so-called Ozempic to start losing weight because it's so easy for them. So this kind of a body positive face the backlash because of this fast weight losing injection. Nevertheless, fighting so hard for the skin color, gender, but you still facing like the debate last year in the Olympic, right? Who is male? Who is female? I don't want to join that because that's a huge debate. I don't want to go there, but I just want to draw your attention. That is Uranus in Taurus. For the last 7 years, we draw our attention even in our everyday debate, or what do we use or how we shopping. That was Uranus play around. In our life. So have you noticed that? The change, the wave of change, and how we change our value, how we change our view of a body. For example, Oprah Winfrey, who used that weight loss injection, and she said the how to lose weight is the struggle entire of her life. Until she found that injection and she's starting to use it. And then she can maintain her, her beautiful slim body. And I know most people still say no, we don't want to try that, but or something else. But it is going to reshape our view of a body again. It's going to reshape our view of body again. It's going to reshape our view of maybe skin color and gender. Since like in UK, we couple months ago there is a controversial things talking about one reform MP talking about the way when you turn on the TV advertising, the older people who have skin color like me appear on the TV advertising and make her feel uncomfortable. I was like, oh, okay. I don't know we have that impact. But these kind of things appear more and more, or what Trump does in the US now. It's totally changed. We try so hard before, and now it's going to take it back. Are they really going to take it back? I'm not sure. Maybe, maybe not. But it wants us to pay attention what Uranus bring us, you know, to focus on money, body, value, finance, and maybe our food. So I don't know if anyone want to share their thought, their idea, and before we hand it to Kenan, Kenan is going to lead us to have some, you know, new perspective of the Uranus in Gemini. Or should I start with Kenan? Do you have anything you want to share?
Sure, but firstly, I totally agree with Carolyn, by the way. Yeah, that's totally true because experience will become the priority right now because user experience will move to the forefront, I think.
Uh-huh.
Because information has always existed, but what matters now is how we engage with it. So, during the Uranus and Taurus periods, we really experienced a fundamental shift in our relationship with material security and ownership. But when we think about my parents' generation, because I'm a new generation, but when I think back to my parents' generation, and even the generation before them, if they worked or they could buy a house, they could buy a car. These things were achievable, but today, however, owning a house or a car has become a luxury. So the younger generation is under real stress because of this. And I noticed something else. Anyway, your contributions are, as always, great, Ruth. And also, hello, everyone, by the way. Thank you so much. I'm truly happy to be here today. But I really want to add something because during the Uranus and Taurus period is, so long. So we always, paying a small amount. For example, I noticed that something else as well. In the past, we could buy a music album or CD. We could buy a movie on DVD. We even had DVD collections. We even had, but now we don't really own any of the things anymore. Instead we subscribe the platforms, right? We pay monthly fees. So these monthly payments give us access to many things, but we never truly own them in a permanent or lifelong sense. So we are always paying a percentage, a small amount perhaps, but it is still a cost of access, not a cost of ownership, right?
Yeah, I really agree with what you say when you're talking about DVD or something
Yeah.
like that. Who still own DVD nowadays? Couple days ago, I visited a friend. Wow, he still have whole his wall covered by DVD and CD. And I was like, and where were my CD? I don't know. I don't know where are they now. It's probably in my garage or somewhere. They're hiding it because and how we don't have any machine to play it anymore.
Yeah.
Everything is online and streaming, and that's the really interesting trick, right? That's because you subscribe it, and once you stop subscribe it, you lose everything. So you have to continuously subscribe them. They are so tricky. Okay, we have Caroline raising her hand. Hello, Caroline.
Hello. Yeah, I just wanted to mention two things. The first thing I wanted to say, to do it in reverse order in order to not break the flow, is I think this point that Kenan has brought up is incredibly accurate. We don't get the chance to hold on to things anymore unless we buy physical books. So many times you go to astrology talks and things, and they say you can have the recording, but it will only be for a certain amount of time. And they're saying lifelong access. But what they mean by lifelong access is maybe 6 months or something. I mean, sometimes you don't even know. And so it's not there for you to go back to 5 years later. It's not there for you to refer to. There's no reference ability for you to build up. Whereas with books and astrology books, we can still do that. And I think this is an incredibly important point Kenan's making about how they've taken away our right to buy things and then own them. This is really true.
Absolutely.
But the second thing I wanted to say was about Uranus in Taurus was as the daughter of a farmer. One of the things that I've noticed over the last half dozen years or so has been the overtaking of really good quality farmland, good quality productive farmland by technology. It's being obliterated with miles and miles of solar panels. It's being obliterated with huge, huge, huge batteries. They call them batteries. I'm not exactly sure what they are, but you know, big blocks, big chunks of tech that apparently store energy and so on. There's a massive political problem about this in southern Scotland, where there's gorgeous countryside and the local people, the southern Scots, are all trying to frantically keep it and preserve it. But the authorities are trying to take all the wind power off the North Sea and put it in these massive things which are obliterating and causing eyesores. And down in the southwest of England, they've tried to get around the problem of solar panels covering large tracts of usable land by putting them up on stilts, sort of like roofs, and growing things under them. But it's not a satisfactory alternative. And I think this is really, really bad because we need to hold on to our land. We need to hold on to our capacity to grow and produce things for ourselves to eat. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Great contributions.
Yeah, anyone want to share their idea, their observation for the Uranus in Taurus?
I don't know, but why did not mention Jeffrey Epstein wrote? I'm really
Today,
curious about, would it be a problem if I mention this person?
Kenan, we would be really happy if you prepared.
Yeah, just thinking about, Taurus equals to taboos,
Uh-huh.
Also think our relationship with taboos has changed. So Taurus is associated with security, protection, tradition, customs, and inherited values because the moon is exalted in Taurus.
Mhm.
So, and the moon represents culture, collective habits, and even we consider shameful or, unacceptable. And our perspective on these topics has clearly shifted, right? So there is now a much more marginal edge to society. People can earn money through sexual contents, platforms and themes, related to sexuality and exploitation. How can I say? I don't know, but are widely represented in media today as well, as we all know. So Jeffrey Epstein. So all of these reflects another striking dimension of the Taurus, Uranus and Taurus periods. So what do you think about these chains? So there's, same story because
and if when you look at it from a different side, or the same story, when you look at it from a different side, just like, oh yeah, that's interesting. When the Uranus in Taurus and how these kind of things blowed up.
What's interesting is that many of these taboos began to surface the moment we entered the Uranus and Gemini phase. Because Uranus, has just entered in Gemini, from the point of heliocentric view. So heliocentric astrology. We need to consider that point. So maybe I can share something.
Yeah, please.
Can you see right now?
Yeah, we can see your presentation. Thank you.
It's just a basic presentation, by the way, but you cannot see all of my screen right now. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a basic and simple, you know. But you know, I've just prepared a few things, so I'd like to share a short reflection on Uranus, actually. So, you know, the discovery of Uranus is truly significant, I think, because it was discovered by William Herschel, of course, but more broadly, we should say this: the moments when not just Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, or Chiron, or any other, you know, significators were discovered are extremely important. Their discovery dates and historical contexts surrounding those movements seem to suggest that the world itself was somehow preparing for that knowledge. These planets were always there, but they existed long before we knew about them. But the moment we became aware of their existence was also the moment we became ready for the kinds of meanings and experiences they would bring into our lives. I hope I'm expressing this clearly because it's really meaningful, I think. And Uranus fits perfectly into this pattern. Until then, we knew only the 7 classical planets, and for the first time, we discovered a planet beyond them, something fundamentally different. And also, you know, we are also looking at the charts for the moment of Uranus discovery. As you know, when Uranus was discovered in, 1781, and it was already in Gemini. So, and this is genuinely fascinating. And, you know, opposite Uranus, we see Saturn and Mars, and together with the Sun, they form a T-square aspect pattern and unusual configuration, and it's quite strange structure actually. But when you place this chart onto its historical context, it becomes very meaningful. So at that time, Uranus discovery, we were in the middle of American Revolution and French Revolution, by the way, and there are periods marked by independence movements, right? And I listed, further on, I tried to gather and organize some information here, but I'm not sure how clearly you can see it. But I won't go through each period one by one because I don't want this to become tedious or annoying or boring. Instead, I'd like to point out the common themes. So Uranus entered Gemini in the past. You'll notice recurring patterns, information, maybe communication, technology revolutions, especially ideological revolutions, transformation in the rhythm world, and social networks or logistics, maybe we can say transportation, right? In other words, these periods express Gemini themes very clearly and very consistently. And now let's move to the chart for the moment when Uranus re-enters Gemini. As you know, Uranus briefly entered Gemini in 2025. Then we went retrograde around November and moved back out. But now it will enter Gemini again, and this time it will remain there for the long stretch ahead. So what do you see? So right at the moment, we can see Venus sitting immediately next to it. So it's really remarkable, I think. Just thinking about Venus in Gemini, Uranus in Gemini, and that is genuinely fascinating. So maybe we can say Venus in Gemini alongside Uranus in Gemini suggests that themes of value, relationships, attraction and desire are being radically redefined through information, communication, and mental connection. And what we find attractive, valuable, or meaningful becomes more fluid and more intellectual or more experimental. And when we move further into the charts, we clearly see a stellium in Aries, right? But stellium in Aries, this Aries, emphasis points to fast thinking, impulsive decisions, urgency, competitiveness, maybe we can say, and a strong drive to make the first move. And the presence of Saturn and Neptune in Aries, maybe you want to say something regarding this issue, because acting for ideals, taking risks in the name of visions or beliefs, and launching bold initiatives that may lack clear direction, I think. So together, this describes courage mixed with uncertainty, action without a fully defined map. But Rod also mentioned that because another key element of the chart is that absolutely Pluto is now in Aquarius, while Uranus has entered Gemini, a trine between Uranus and Pluto is forming, which we can interpret as the smooth activation of maybe technological power or large-scale systems, and maybe manipulating or influential networks, because this aspect speaks of strong mechanism of control and influence, including the ability to manipulate information and shape collective narratives. Those who control information may rise very quickly, and this is an advantage or disadvantage. So that depends entirely on how it is used, because trines do not judge. They simply allow things to flow easily. When Pluto is involved, outcomes can be constructive or destructive. But in either case, the process tends to unfold smoothly and efficiently. So also the emotional tone of the chart is shown by the moon at 29 degrees Leo, a critical or an unstable degree. And this suggests that collective needs, emotional reactions, and public sentiment are at a point of transition. So something is ending, 29 degrees, something is ending, and direction is about to change. And the Sun in Taurus forms an anti-shear relationship, not the exact degree, but anti-shear relationship with the Moon, which is significant because while they may appear harmonious by degree, sign-wise, there's tension, because this reflects a deeper conflict between stability and emotional expression. Still, the anti-shear tells us something important, because the people and the rulers government rulers, CEOs, or maybe can see each other. There is awareness, recognition, and mutual visibility maybe between leadership and the public. Whether this connection will be lasting is uncertain. After all, we are analyzing a Uranus ingress charts, and ingress charts are not about permanent. So they describe threshold movements, not long-term stability, but rapid shifts, experimental values we can see. And maybe I can briefly mention this. It's geodetic cartography of Uranus at the moment of its ingress into Gemini. Let's take a look at the geodetic cartography. Okay, as you know, in geodetic mapping, where we work with zodiacal positions, and through this method, we can observe where in the world the emphasis will fall, and what kinds of developments Uranus may initiate during this 7-year cycle. And since Uranus has entered Gemini, so it naturally occupies the Gemini sector in the geodetic map as well. So what immediately stands out is the MC lines of Uranus and Venus pass directly through Middle East, moving Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Iran, and also continuing further south. So maybe we can say this region is therefore highlighted quite strongly. And in this context, we can easily, we can clearly associate with these lines with technology, defense, communication, and energy. And these themes are likely to become especially prominent here because with Venus involved, additional layers come into play, such as precious stones, valuable minerals, and natural resources, maybe we can say, because the Middle East already contains very rich structures in many of these areas. So Venus' presence inevitably brings questions of value, wealth, and resources to the foreground. And maybe Rod wants to say, if you want to say something about Venus, because Venus is also associated with copper. I don't know, and interestingly, copper has been drawing significant attention recently. Am I right? I don't know, but copper is a good way to merchandise or computers or technology.
Yeah. Copper.
Rod, want to say something regarding the...
No, I'm fine. No, I'm okay. Thank you.
This Venus is also, highly remarkable, I think. And elsewhere in the chart, we can see a strong stellium, Aries stellium, and the MC lines of this Aries stellium fall directly across Europe. And this suggests, policies, maybe heightened competitions, or military, military teams, military matters, and sharper diplomacy, maybe we can say, which appear to be more the dominant themes. So Neptune is also involved. We have already mentioned that, because we should also speak of unclear strategies and maybe ambitious moves and ideological confusion. And with Mars and Mercury present, this can manifest as harsh statements, right? So in short, for Europe, Uranus influence highlights security, defense, energy, and also migration. Right? So migration as central issues in the coming period, I think. And the ascendant lines of this Aries stellium pass through the central axis, North and South America, particularly across Venezuela, Colombia, and the Gulf region. I don't know what is the name of the Gulf right now, but ascendant lines, indicate places where events are directly experienced. And here we can expect economic and political volatility, maybe, or maybe protests, revolutionary impulses. So it's highly remarkable. And also the descendant lines, when we think about the descendant lines of the same stellium, run through Southeast Asia, crossing Indonesia, Bangkok, and through the central regions of China. Because this is a descendant axis, it emphasizes foreign relations and external pressures, and maybe alliances, maybe oppositions and international negotiations, right? Because descendant is regarded, regarded as a symbol of negotiations. So with Uranus involved, however, we should describe this as a period of hardening diplomacy rather than smooth cooperation. Finally, we see Pluto on the IC passing very closely to Korea, or maybe we can consider Taiwan, I don't know. And this is particularly significant because it naturally blinks Korea or Taiwan into the discussion, because Pluto on the IC speaks of fundamental security issues and deep power struggles and structural and transformation at the core levels. And these are regions where silent but extremely powerful developments may be unfolding beneath the surface. And also, I'd like us to think in a new way. Okay, I want to invite you to a question, to question things together, okay, with me, with us. We often assume that Uranus will feel comfortable in Gemini, right? We think Gemini is ruled by Mercury, okay? And Uranus is somehow a higher octave, right? Higher octave, a higher level of Mercury. And that's a very common assumption, but I believe something quite different is happening here, because what we are actually dealing with is a polarity, because polarity means two opposing poles. There is a right side and a left side. So both describe the same principle, yet they express it in completely different ways. And that's the nature of duality. And maybe let me give a simple example. For example, just thinking about Aries and Libra. Okay, both signs are about justice, right? Aries and Libra. And Aries seeks justice quickly, directly, instinctively. Libra seeks justice through strategy, balance, and maybe a little negotiation. But they are talking about the same concept, justice, but from two opposite poles. I think a similar polarity exists between Uranus and Mercury. Okay. And because of this, I don't believe Uranus in Gemini will automatically be easy or comfortable. Let's look at this through some key ideas. Okay, because Uranus represents crisis mode. Something sudden happens, we panic, we feel overwhelmed, think, spiral quickly. And in those moments, what actually helps us? So breathing, right? Oh, breathing, inhale and exhale. So stepping away, for example, going for a walk, maybe we can say. So clearing the mind, and that response belongs to Mercury, because Mercury rules breathe and movement and mental regulation. Is there one mute or something? Okay, Chatra. Okay. I cannot unmute.
Kenan, it's okay. Don't worry.
Okay.
I handle
Okay.
it.
Okay. And also Uranus, maybe we can say Uranus also represents accidents, sudden unexpected events. And Mercury, on the other hand, represents routine, maintenance, checks, and controls. Think about it this way, because Mercury can never move very far away from the sun. So it is always connected, dependent, right? And anchored to a center. But Uranus, by contrast, represents radical independence and detachment. That's its power, but also its danger. So when Uranus operates without Mercury, its originality, or maybe unpredictability, unpredictability can turn into chaos. So, but if we just rely on Mercury, we risk becoming robotic, right? We think and overthink, repeating the same mental patterns over and over again. And that too can lead to serious problems. So the question isn't choosing Uranus or Mercury. The real question is how we balance the polarity between them. Okay, other examples. So you can think about learned helplessness, helplessness, that feeling of even if I try, it won't work anyway. So that state itself gets classified and labeled. And as you know, Mercury rules both Gemini and Virgo, and one of Mercury's core functions is exactly this: classification, labeling, and organization. Mercury is about order. We organize, for example, drawers. Okay, we organize drawers, we categorize things, we put everything in its proper place, and once it's there, it stays there. For example, I put my socks in a drawer. Okay, I don't go stick my socks on the ceiling. Okay, just thinking about this. So Uranus is sticking the socks the sock on the ceiling, but Mercury is putting the sock in the drawer. So the question becomes, what do we do with our socks now? Okay. If we think only in Mercury terms, the answer is simple: socks belonging in the drawers. End of story. But that kind of thinking can sometimes dull us. So it can make us rigid, robotic. Sometimes we need to at least consider sticking the sock on the ceiling. Not necessarily to do it, but to think about it. And let me give you another example. As you know, I have a background in genetics. I'm a former geneticist, by the way. So Uranus represents mutation, sudden breaks, disruption, and genetic anomalies. But Mercury, on the other hand, represents genetic sequencing. So, chains and structured continuity. So Uranus breaks the pattern, Mercury builds the chain. And finally, think about electricity. Okay, Uranus represents lightning, sudden, powerful, uncontrollable. But Mercury represents the lightning rod. It grounds the energy. It channels its saving. Even Mercury's glyph reflects the symbolism, because there's almost a bow-like form at the top, as if it's receiving energy and guiding it downward, grounding, bringing the light safely to the ground. So now let's ask a simple question. Who invented the lightning rod? Of course, Benjamin Franklin, you know. When we talk about invention, one name really should come to mind, Benjamin Franklin. But today we think we think of the dollar, money. We think of Benjamin Franklin. I know that's the common association, but beyond that, he was also a remarkably important inventor who created many things, you know, and one of those inventions, as you know, is the lightning rod. So when you look at Benjamin Franklin's natal chart, something very striking appears, because there is a direct opposition between Uranus and Mercury. Yes, Mercury is an Aquarius and a stationary position. This is fascinating because when a planet is stationary, its symbolism becomes extremely strong and highly emphasized. We see this repeatedly in the charts of influential figures, such as, for example, Steve Jobs had a stationary Mercury, or Hillary Clinton also has a stationary Mercury, you know. And we often, when someone plays a major role in Mercury-related fields, thinking, communication, invention, maybe information, we see Mercury standing still in their charts. And if you look closely, you'll notice the opposition, okay? And I don't think this is a coincidence at all. In my view, Benjamin Franklin didn't randomly embody this symbolism. He expressed it. And so overall, in a nutshell, okay, what we really need to do here, I think, is create a balance between Uranus and Mercury, because these two only function properly when they work together. For example, you can easily turn your child into, you know, technology addict, but you can also help a child become aligned with technology in a healthy way. As you know, according to Ptolemy's age model, the period between roughly age 4 and 13 or 14 is strongly associated with the planet Mercury, you know, the age of model, the age of the model of Ptolemy. And this is completely a childhood phase, because children do not recognize limits in the same way adults do. For them, boundaries, you know, don't really exist. They are free, open, and full of possibility. And when when that natural expression is not properly spotted, so Uranian methods tend to step in. So if you stay only on one Uranian pole, okay, you hand the child a tablet or a laptop or something like that, you know, and let chaos take over. And if you stay only on the Mercury side, okay, just thinking about the Mercury side, just only Mercury side, that also becomes a problem, because you start to robotize the child, and the child can't focus, so the response becomes, let's give medication, let's give pills, so let's fix the dopamine. You know, dopamine is a great necessary, you know, necessarily we need that dopamine during these periods. And let's intervene in the nervous system, maybe we can say. So let's make them sit still and study. Okay, and again, the child becomes robotic. So when you balance the poles, the child actually improves, right? Because then something important happens. So maybe take overthinking, for example, thinking too much, obsessing mentally. So in those moments, what really helps? Maybe we can follow the path of Einstein. For example, playing a chess or maybe playing the violin, you know, Albert Einstein. So doing something sequential but engaging, stepping away briefly and then returning to the issue with a clear mind. And this is where Uranus and Mercury need each other. So Uranus works well with Mercury and Mercury works well with Uranus because they are the opposite poles of the same system. But when the balance is lost, so when you slide, completely to one side on the other, problems inevitably arise. Too much Uranus or too much Mercury creates instability in different ways. That's why, during strong Uranian periods, learning how to balance these two forces become absolutely essential. Okay, thank you. I'm curious to hear what you all think. And
Yeah.
with that, I'd like to thank you, by the way.
Thank you, Kenan, to
Martin,
take your time out to join us today. And I know it's extremely late for you in Istanbul. So everyone say, please just give
no
a little
worries.
pause
I'm a
to
night
Kenan.
owl.
Thank you for, to stay with us this late. I know you love astrology. I know you love us, but staying this late, thank you so much. But also, Kenan, the better things to give some feedback to Kenan and share your idea with Kenan, okay?
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. You can, of
Yeah,
course, you can, follow me online. As you know, I'm
yeah.
active on social media. Reach me through my website. I'd love to stay in touch.
Yeah, anyone want to share their idea about about today's topic, especially between the Uranus in Taurus, Uranus Gemini, or what the Kenan says? You like to share? Don't worry, Kenan. I will let you go in couple minutes.
No worries. Okay.
Oh, it's Rika.
Yeah.
Hi, I really enjoy. I have a
Thank you.
Natally Venus Uranus
Ah, Jadranka
conjunct.
here. Oh my God. I cannot see.
Hello. So,
Hello.
yeah.
Big kisses, Jadranka. We really miss you, by the way.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. What right? I think Caroline. Yeah, please.
Well, I'd rather hear from somebody else first.
Okay.
I know my hand was up first, but can we?
Sure. Okay, if you like, yep. How about Diana?
And
Okay.
Diana, that seems
Yeah.
so valid. And ADHD, you mentioned that. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I was kind of tapping in some responses as you were both talking, because you got me
Absolutely.
thinking about so many things.
Yeah.
I particularly love this idea of Mercury having some agency, because this is the planet that goes to and fro and can talk and liaise, etc. As opposed to this idea of Uranus as completely haphazard stuff that just comes from out of nowhere, and we can't negotiate with Uranus. It's just we got to live with the lightning strike or whatever. But it made me also think about the magician in the tarot, because he holds the wand. He's got that lightning rod that you spoke about. And and using the gift of the gab, using liaison, which might be a way forward with Uranus going into Gemini. I mean, I'm quite switched on with this at the moment, just
Great
because,
contributions. Yeah.
because there's a lot of focus on people actually being able to speak the truth, or understand other people's truth. Yeah, really interesting
Uranus
talk
and
by.
Gemini offers a powerful opportunity if we know how to use Mercury side properly. Yeah.
Thank you. How about Margaret?
Oh, Oh,
Hiya.
sorry about that. Sorry about that.
Hello, Margaret.
Thank you so
Hello.
much for your presentation, Kenan. It was very, very good. Yeah, I'm interested in the sextile between the stellium and Aries. And
Yeah, sextile and Aries.
yeah, so it's going to be hitting like 5 planets of mine. So that's going to be, hopefully it'll jolt out of the doldrums of, the whole Piscean period where all you want to do is sleep. And, for all of us, I think, having come out of this period of grieving for the whole world, it'll
Yeah.
wake us up. Only Uranus is just gonna shoot our nerves, it's just gonna
Maybe that stellium, frees us, frees us from, that's the purely mechanical or repetitive patterns, maybe. Because
yeah,
when we
yes,
think about the element of fire,
yes. I think it'll be very important to take care of your nerves,
Uh,
the nervous,
absolutely.
yeah, the nervous energy of Uranus is gonna be intense,
Sudden
I think.
events.
So, thank you.
Thank you, Margaret. Okay, anyone? Caroline, do you like to share your idea?
Yes, thank you. I don't know an awful lot about astrology.
Yeah.
I've never gotten into it. It's quite enough to study geocentric. There's plenty there to keep you going for several lifetimes.
Yeah.
So one of the things I was thinking about was in geocentric, we always say that things sort of affect you before they go over the cusp.
Yeah.
Right? So quite often something can be considered to be in the second house. I mean the next house, rather than the house it's actually in, because it's close to the cusp. So what I was wondering was, obviously the sun doesn't just jump from being a single point to a single point because the sun is massive. It takes time to traverse. So that could explain part of it. But also, with a heliocentric chart, perhaps that would explain why, to us down here on Earth with geocentric chart, we seem to see things happening in advance. And I'm just putting this forward to find out if any of this idea holds water.
Yeah. That's totally fine, because in geocentric, maybe we can say, I feel it this way. But when we think about heliocentric, how does this principle work at the system level, right? System level, or maybe geocentric Uranus and Gemini. Maybe we can ask that kind of questions. For example, what are people experiencing? Geocentric view. But in heliocentric view, maybe we can ask about what is the system doing, okay, rather than people experiencing. So it's a great way to understand
Another perspective again.
Another perspective again.
Yeah.
But what I was thinking was, I've sort of been feeling that the Uranus in Gemini, while it's not actually in Gemini technically yet, for us on a tropical geocentric point of view, I have sort of been feeling it's been happening. Well, if it has already happened from a heliocentric point of view,
that's
that
why
would
we
make
have to
sense.
consider.
Yes. You see what I mean? That would make sense.
Absolutely.
Because at the deeper level, it has already happened.
Yeah, absolutely. Great point. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Carolyn.
Okay.
So the idea is not daft.
No, I think usually it takes time as an outer planet moves slowly, So it seems to take time to develop. So maybe there are already some certain hints building up during the maybe last time when Uranus was in the same side, or or when last time we have the like a previous time we have, this is not the first time Uranus moved into Gemini, because it was moving in Gemini last year too. So there is the things that slowly building up. I think that's how I see it. Do we have
Yeah, very good
any?
point.
Thank you, Caroline. Any other comment? We will stay here for another 10 minutes because I don't want to let Kenan go to bed too late.
The Astrological Association is honestly an incredible organization.
Oh, thank you so much.
As far as I know, it was founded and began its work many years before I was even born.
Or even before me. Well, but I would like to share the information while we are here. So we have this year's conference date is already there. So from the 17th to 20th of September, and the same place, Eastwood Hall in Nottingham. So this year, please just book this date up, and please join us in Nottingham. It's a beautiful venue and food is good, and I really, really enjoy that place. So please come to join us this year. Okay, please come to join us this year on the Eastwood Hall, and I think you are going to love the place. And I will even try to, they have the huge space we can do stargazing if weather is nice. I'll definitely take people out to do a bit stargazing thingy.
It's
Okay.
it's a great venue, and the talks are usually very interesting, and you meet, it's like going in a spa and meeting like-minded people. It's really great.
Definitely, yes. Thank you, Yatoranka. As Yatoranka do my job, I will do job for Yatoranka. From Trajan's view, this is a very, very good prize for people who join to join the conference, because you imagine you want to go to the conference with this prize in other place. Probably not. That's because we are no-profit charity organization. So so even we have earned a tiny bit money, is always going to association and to create more event to bring astrology in front of you. All right. So, well, I would like to say thanks to everyone joining us today.
In the next Astro Duet, Leanne McCafferty and Chris
Oh my
Mitchell.
Oh my God, you do my job. Thank you. Yes. Next,
we'll be speaking together. They will be discussing the Aries Ingress chart.
How could you?
Chris
Yeah. Okay.
Mitchell is always good fun. Chris Mitchell is excellent.
But Leanne is a wonderful astrologer, and also, as you know, Chris Mitchell is a true senior figure in the field. He is also a council member of APAI along with us. So I'm sure it will be an excellent.
Oh, definitely. So it's on the 18th of March. On the 18th of March, Leanne will join together with Chris Mitchell, and they are going to talk about the Aries Ingress. So really looking forward. So thanks, Kenan, and thank you, Yatoranka. Thanks everyone to join us today, and thanks everyone who share their idea or just here. Thank you so much. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Rod. Thank you, Kenan.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you, Kenan.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.